going on, world? DS1 Ross, and we back here on Sheep Stay Sleep TV. Shout out to everybody who support the platform, man. Much love, and we back with another video, man. Now, in this video, I just had to come and address this, man. I just had to come and address this. I had to address the black woman that is in this black man's restaurant twerking on this man's furniture and in this man's establishment. This is a perfect example of why hyenas should stay in their habitat. Hyenas should stay in their habitat for that specific reason, because hyenas don't respect order. And when I say order, they don't respect the way someone else may put things in order in their environment. Hyenas are very unruly, disrespectful, out of control. You could just look at their nature in the wild and then look at how these broads behave in public. They think that this shit is okay. They think it's acceptable when it's not. There's no reason or no excuse for her twerking in that man's establishment. There's no excuse for her doing that anywhere, especially in an upscale restaurant. Now, if she want to twerk for the camera in McDonald's or Burger King, or at Chick-fil-A, in the Chinese restaurant, at the DMV, you know, down at social services. But you cannot bring that behavior into an upscale establishment, because from what I saw, the brother had a decent establishment. He had a decent establishment. And I don't want to hear, oh, we just got to accept that that's how black women are. That's a lie. That is a lie. Because if that's the case, then we have to agree with black women when they say they have to accept black men being broke and being cheaters. So we have to stop getting up here making these nonsensical ass points, because only certain types of black women act like that. And the type of black women that behave like that black woman was behaving in that man's establishment is a black woman who will behave that way anywhere. See, she didn't have no respect for that man's establishment because it was a black man's establishment. That's why. That's why. Because if she was in a white bar, no matter what song came on, she wouldn't have jumped her ass up on no table and start twerking in no white bar. The only way you may see her ass doing something like that is if she's following her white friends. See, she not gonna just volunteer and do no stuff like that in a white establishment, but she'll do it in a black man's establishment. Why? Because for one, she think it's allowed and it's acceptable, because they think all black men want to look at women shake their ass all day. Number two, she don't have no respect because it's his establishment. She thinks she's supposed to get a pass. But see, if you notice nowadays, you're not going to see too many of them doing that in establishments that black women own. You may see that type of stuff on Instagram and social media and stuff like that. You might see the beautician twerking with her customer or something like that. Or they all twerking, all the beauticians is twerking in the salon or something like that. You might see that. But notice what I said. The people who own it and the customers are doing it. They're not just coming in there doing this and behaving this way and thinking and feeling that it's acceptable. I'm glad that brother said what he said. I'm glad he checked her about it. He was supposed to, because at the end of the day, it's about a reputation when you have an establishment like that. And he doesn't want that reputation on his establishment, because that type of reputation brings violence. It brings the goofy dudes who brings the problems. You see? Keep that gynocratic behavior at McDonald's. See? When dudes try to have an establishment that's a little more upscale and a little more presentable, we think it's okay to come in there and behave and act any kind of way. But when you take your ass to Ruth Chris or you take your ass to Peter Luger, you don't act like that. When you take your ass to STKs, you don't act like that. When you take your ass to Mr. Childs, you won't act like that, and you won't say that a black woman who was doing that in there is acceptable. You'll say she bugging out. So why should we accept it when she doing it in a black man's establishment? Anywhere else, she'd have probably got arrested or thrown out or both. So I'm glad that brother confronted her and said what he said, because it's about his reputation. And that's what black men need to care about more, our reputation. And we can't just let anybody represent us in a certain way. If we allow people to represent us a certain way, that shows how we allowed to represent ourselves. We don't represent ourselves that way. That brother looked like a brother of good character. He looked like he don't deal with strags. He don't deal with gynocrats and hyenas that act like that. So he made sure, listen, we don't have this here. Take that shit down the block, as he was supposed to. Come on, man. You can't blame that brother for defending his reputation. That woman was twerking in a place where you actually had to look decent. People wasn't in there wearing t-shirts and shorts and sweatsuits and none of that. Just look at how she was dressed and look at how the brother was dressed. Like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you notify every time I drop some new content right here on Sheep Stay Sleep TV. Make sure you go to the stereo app and follow me at Real is Red Pod. That's Real is Red Pod on the stereo app. Shout out to the masculine mercenaries. One love to the madam mercenaries. And I'm going to catch y'all on the next video. Peace.